years ago, I made a video on this YouTube channel that I feel had one of the best thumbnails we had ever made, period. This was the video, Gabriel Vilardi's Redemption, and you can see that the thing is clearly a Shawshank Redemption reference, but unfortunately nobody, period, ended up talking about the thumbnail, which kind of displeases my heart a little bit, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I get it, people are excited for this guy, so I'm at least happy with all the conversations and the comments of this video from LA Kings fans. And I've said this several times before, but y'all over there in California, LA, baby, you guys treat me like one of your own. Like, anytime I make a Kings video, it's always, hey Lego, thanks for talking about the Kings. We're really excited about this because of X. Hey Lego, it's awesome you're talking about the Kings. This is what I think about this topic. It's Y. Hey Lego, thanks for making Kings videos. And that's just it. It's so heartwarming. Like, no disrespect to all the fans of Columbus or Buffalo or New York or any of the other teams that we cover that aren't Vancouver, Montreal, and Detroit, my three favorite teams, but the LA fans, y'all just kind of take the cake for ones that steal my heart the most. And this video is one where I'm going to be just gushing my heart out because we're talking about a player that has absolutely showcased the best of himself and what he has to offer. And this right here is what we've been waiting for. It's been 5 years of tumultuous injuries that have taken him out for seasons length worth of time, half a season's length worth of time. He's finally healthy, and he's finally here to play, baby. Let's talk about the future Jonathan Toews, and I know that's kind of a meme. 2017 top prospect, 11th overall by the Kings, Gabriel Vilardi. And no, that was probably the wrong word to use. He's not a prospect anymore. He just was a prospect drafted by LA in a position that a lot of people thought was a steal. Gabe Vilardi is a 23-year-old, 6'3", 216 right-handed forward. He's a center, and he's a pretty big dude. Back in 2017, he was ranked a lot higher than 11th overall. You could see that ISS had him at 3, right behind Nolan Patrick and Nico Hischier. Future considerations had him at 4, McKean's at 4, Bob McKenzie at 5. However, he went 11th, which was way further down than many people were expecting. As we had said off the top, people thought that Vilardi had this very two-way capable ceiling and he could produce a heck of a lot of points. Some people called him the next Jonathan Toews, just maybe a bit bigger than Toews was, a guy who could really round out his game as a versatile power two-way center that could just totally be a top-line threat. Except the problem with Vilardi and his development was, yes, okay, he was good after getting drafted. In 2017-18, he was at 2 points a game in the OHL, but the season after that, he only had 4 games. And the season after that, he was in recovery from back injuries that took him out until January, I believe. Now, when he returned, he actually was really good. 2019-20 saw him have 25 points in 32 games with the Reign and 7 points in 10 games with the regular LA Kings. And the season after that, in 2021, he actually did kind of go out there and just play the whole year. He was somewhat of a top 6 forward. He had 23 points in 54 games played. But things just weren't really clicking for Vilardi in the same way that people thought they would be back when he was drafted, and people said he could have been like a first-line caliber center or whatever. This was cemented even further when in 21-22, he had actually gotten sent back down to the AHL. Now, in the stint that he had, I mean, he was a point per game. 38 points in 39 games is not bad. In the NHL, though, he had 7 points in 25 games. And a lot of people would go out there and say, yeah, no, I mean, we've given Vilardi a lot of the benefit of the doubt. We've always known that there were injury problems going with this guy, and having the season that he had in 2020-2021 where he was a top 6 forward, that seemed to be the start of what was going to be a pretty good upturn in this guy's career. But what the heck is going to happen now? I mean, he's down there in the AHL. He actually got called up to play with the Kings in 2 games against the Oilers, which was interesting to note. But it was always a big question as to what was going to happen with Vilardi in 2022-2023. And this is where I come in and I start to rave and wax poetic about how this guy has been performing. Because even though he has mostly been a third-line-ish guy for the Kings, Gabe Vilardi in the 9 games that he has 6 goals and 4 assists for 10 total points. In fact, he was so good that in LA's game against Winnipeg yesterday, he was actually promoted to the top line with Kopitar and Kempe. How's that for being a top 6 demoted to the AHL kind of guy? He had scored a goal yesterday as well. He tipped in a Kevin Fiala shot. He's had a few goals this season where he is absolutely just on the dot with his tip-ins on the power play and his playmaking too. Gabe Vilardi so far, if you go over to the game log, you can see that he's averaging 15 minutes of time on ice per game. Early on, that was kind of in the 14-ish minute range. He had a few 17-minute games here and there, but he's got 4 multi-point games already on the year, and it's only been like 9 games. He's shooting the puck a lot, he's getting his sticks on tips, and he's producing points. This is what you wanted out of Vilardi all those years ago, and he's finally here. This is what Todd McClellan said about Gabe Vilardi. I can't say enough good things about the young man. He has been outstanding since training camp. And the best part is, you take a look at the production he has, okay, he's got 10 points. 8 of these points have been on even strength. And if you go over to the NHL so far, he is tied for second in the league at 5v5 points. Or not 5v5 specifically, 4v4 counts too, but he's up there with Mateychuk, Troy Terry, Connor McDavid, David Pastrnak, Gaudreau, and Sidney freaking Crosby. The only guy that has more even strength points than all these guys is Jesper Bratt of the Devils, but he's been pretty good his entire career, and last year especially, so I don't really think that's too much of a surprise. But for Gabe Vilardi to all of a sudden come back from a season where he was sent down to the AHL and be this good right off the bat, this is amazing. You go over to his point production, I mean, he's got 6 goals in 9 games. He's on pace for 55 goals on the year. He's on pace for 91 points on the year, too. Go over to the Kings and see who's leading their team in scoring. Guess what? It's Gabe Vilardi. He's got more points than Kopitar, more than Philippe Deneau, more than Fiala. He is just getting involved. And he's only 23 freaking years old. This is the season that we have been waiting for out of this guy. And I'm so happy that it's finally happening to him. Not only was Gabe Vilardi supposed to go a lot higher in the draft, but there were so many injury struggles and everything that made it so easy to cheer for him, because it's like, yeah, you don't want to see a young guy's career getting ruined by injuries in the same way as, let's say, the guy ranked ahead of him, Nolan Patrick, first overall, was. Patrick went second, but he was ranked to go first by some outlets. But take a look at what Patrick has been through. His career has been derailed by injuries too. This is the worst thing that can happen for anybody that's somewhat of a hyped up prospect heading into an NHL draft. And for Vilardi, he is a guy that is going out there and defying the odds. He took a year off dealing with back stuff. And how old was he when he took that year off and he only played 4 games in 2018-19? Guess what? The guy was 20 years old. Do you know how much development time a player ends up losing when they miss out on a 20-year-old season? That's your draft plus 2 year right there, buddy. Like, that's such significant time that you're not going to be able to use. And Gabe Vilardi, as much of a beast that people thought he was in the OHL, has come back and shown us that that dog is still in him, man. He's got that dog in him. And he's able to go out there and already be a top point producer on his team, despite only being promoted to the first line just yesterday. So we'll see what happens with Vilardi as the season goes on. I'm so pissed off at Audie James because he went out there and claimed Vilardi in our fantasy league. I was like, holy crap, Vilardi's actually doing it. He's putting it together. I've been on the Vilardi hype train since 2017, only to find out that Audie James already had him on his fantasy team. Come on, bro. Can't be doing me like that. But either way, Todd of the Council, your thoughts about Gabe Vilardi and the incredible resurgence we have seen. I guess it's maybe not too incredible since he was a point-per-game player in the AHL last season, but then again, the fact that he was demoted and now he's back, especially after all the crap that he had with his back too, that makes things special, and that makes me want to cheer for this guy even more. If he gets 91 points on the season like he's projected to, then hey, we'll see what happens when he gets that contract extension, because right now he's at a 2023 expiring entry-level deal making $800,000 a year. So, talk in the comments all your thoughts about Gabe Vilardi, his play, his production, the points that he's going to get at the end of the year, and how much do you think he resigns for? LA fans, the floor is yours. We could have made another video about Denton. We could have talked about Fiala again, but no, I wanted to talk about Vilardi because this guy is a beauty. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this Juraj Rolls 99. And bye.